Hello, students. So this is a new chapter, PowerShell. Okay, so why PowerShell? Okay, you know now Bash Shell, right? And now you're gonna learn PowerShell. Okay, PowerShell is really nice because it helps us to automate many tasks really easy. In my opinion, everything that you can do with the bash shell using the filter AWK, grep, everything that the technique that we use to filter the output and then try to record everything to a log file, sometimes are so complicated. They're really hard to do. But with PowerShell, it's gonna be much easier. This is why they call PowerShell, right? So you're gonna see at the end of this lecture that I'm gonna solve many programming problems that if you compare with Bash Shell, it's gonna take us like a lot of line to do that. With PowerShell, it's gonna be much easier, but you will have to understand really well how PowerShell work. We're gonna use objects in PowerShell. Okay, so don't scare about that. So we're gonna talk about general objects. What have an object, attribute, and method, right? And you can collect many objects in a collection, in a list, right? Arrays. So it's gonna be the same thing here. We are not gonna work too much with storing object in a list as we did in Python, right? But we're gonna use objects here. Identify object and then use the properties and method for that object. So why do we need to learn Microsoft or PowerShell? We need to learn PowerShell because this technology is not gonna be a wait, right? This technology is gonna be here. It's gonna be here, and we can take advantage of this technology. So one way that you can take advantage if you are a system administrator, for example, is that you can automate things that you hate to do manually, right? So you're gonna you don't enjoy creating hundreds of active directory user account manually, right? So it's gonna be much easier to know PowerShell, read the data from the file, and automate everything in one script. Okay, so also developing things scripting in PowerShell is gonna be really easy. We're gonna have a nice interface. We're gonna talk about the components in some minutes, but uh, this is what I want to talk about PowerShell. So, definition of PowerShell. According to Wikipedia, Windows PowerShell is a task automation and configuration management framework from Microsoft, consisting of command line shell. We're gonna use a lot. Everything's command line, okay? Shells, associated script language built on .NET framework. So you don't need to know .NET framework, okay? Don't worry, okay? The only thing that you have to know is that the classes that we're gonna use in PowerShell were built in .NET framework. That's it. Okay. But what is a .NET framework? It's just like an abstraction layer that you're gonna use uh, when you develop application. The same thing that we develop Java and use an application server, right? Tomcat, for example, manage the Apache, manage the driver to connect to the databases, this kind of thing. The same thing is the .NET framework. That's it. It's gonna help you to interact with your computer, manipulating the software, hardware, things like this. Okay. So before starting, if you have Mac, just in case, you can go to this URL and follow the instruction. Okay, what instruction? Well, you know Mac better than me because you have Mac. I don't have Mac. But that you will have to do is something really, really easy. Let me show you here. Installing PowerShell on Mac. Okay, so installing of latest stable release via Homebrew. Okay, you know better than me that, right? It's like a managed package manager, right? That is gonna help you to install things in your system. So you will have to copy and paste that in your command line. Okay, and execute that. Follow that, and you're gonna have PowerShell in your system if you have Mac. Okay. So now let's gonna talk about the PowerShell components. Okay, and this is the first component. If you click here and type PowerShell, okay, you're gonna see Windows PowerShell. You're gonna see ISE, okay, that this is the console like the PineShark. Remember PineShark? Okay, that we use for Python, the IDE, right? Application that help us to code really well, right? Okay, help us to auto-complete the code. Okay, it's there. Okay, we're gonna start with the PowerShell here. Recommend you to run as an administrator to have the correct privilege. I'm sorry, I clicked twice. A second. And I click here. What is that? Yes. I'm gonna move my cursor here. Ta-da! This is the Windows PowerShell. We use that sometimes. We're gonna use another tool, but with this tool, we can start getting some fun. For example, you can use, remember that dir command that you use when you have the command prompt for those? That works here as well. Okay. So you can use the C, uh, C user, for example, my username, documents, sys, use dir. So it's gonna be there are gonna be some alias that exist. This is a good thing of PowerShell. There are some common things from other Bash program that are gonna help here. In theory, you're gonna see the folder that directories the equivalent to the ls is gonna be get child items. Okay, this is a real command that we're gonna use in PowerShell. Okay, if you wanna repeat the command, use the cursor up and repeat the command. Okay, just to give you an idea, I'm gonna talk about that in some minutes. But see the lines, the rows, okay, they're gonna be like objects. Okay, object with attribute mode, with attribute last write time, attribute length, attribute name. Okay, so just in case we're gonna talk about that, I'm gonna give you just an idea. Okay. Okay, let me see what else I have in my notes. Okay, this is that we use that, run as an administrator. And this is that we're gonna use a lot. PowerShell integrated script environment. You can use another IDE, for example, Visual Studio. You're free to do that. But what I'm gonna use in this class is the PowerShell integrated scripting environment. Okay, this is what we're gonna use now. So how to run the PowerShell integrated scripting environment? So you will have to go here. Remember that we type PowerShell C run ISE integrated scripting environment as an administrator. Click there. Maybe you will have to set yes, and then it's loading. Okay, see that? You have the console here. The good thing is the autocomplete. See that? Get dash. See that? Process. See that? Like the PS minus EF, remember? Nice, right? So get process. You can just get child item, like the dir, right? See that? Okay. But what happened here? Yes, we can type here, for example, get child item, and then click here, run script. See that? The same thing that I did, get process, execute. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna see all the processes running. Okay, consuming memory, CPU, DID. You can kill them if you want. Similar thing that we did with Batshell. Okay, we're gonna be able to save our script here or open your scripts. I have many scripts that I was recording for this lecture. Okay, so you can open and work on that. Okay, so this is the tool that we're gonna use. So it's gonna help us to save our script, uh, help us to interact, and help us to make our life easier. Okay, this is what we're gonna use for now. Okay, so let's gonna play. I'm gonna do something easy. Some of you use the event log one day, sometimes, at least one day. Okay, in the event log, you can see the log for your system, right? So see that. Get event log. Okay, and then you can run. And tell me here, provide the following parameter. Oh, okay, let me add one parameter here. Even get even log dash list. Let me stop and run again. Okay. See that? Get event log list. It's gonna provide me the log for application, hardware, security systems. So some detail. We're not gonna see that in detail. This is not a class of Windows administrator, but at least you know that you can get the list of the log in your system, and you can start using some types filter. So you can set, for example, log name application, for example. Okay, run. See, now you're gonna see the log for your application. See that? Just gonna see when it's gonna stop. So you're gonna see all the complete log that for sure you don't want. You can stop and you can start adding some filter here. For example, minus newest. You wanna see, for example, the newest 5. Run. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the message. So July 14, for example, if my system was down. And then you can see here the services. Okay, the message for the services. Okay, oh, this is from 2 days ago. So what happened when my system was down? Okay, well, anyway, so this is something that we're going to start learning how to start filtering, piping our output. Let me see what I have here. Oh, you can redirect. You can redirect the output to a file. For example, you can use the pipe, same thing that we use in bash shell, and then type just out file. See, this is beautiful. It's gonna help us to autocomplete, right? Sometimes you don't remember, right? And type, for example, where you're gonna save that. My event log.txt. Okay, it can tell you just in case you can save here or over there. Okay, you can run. Okay, and you're gonna save. See that the standard output that we usually display here now is in your file. So if you go to C drive, you're gonna see the output in the file. Okay, so let's gonna stop this video here and continue in the next video.